Suffocating as Florida, I would say. Let me just do one thing here. Suffocating as Florida. Shoot. Give me 1 second, sorry. And we'll start our stream. So, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our stream. I'll record this on Zoom too. So we have it. There's a few things to talk about today. I'll just share this screen here as we kick off the earnings period. Today is, what is it today? Today is July 11th, or sorry, no, that's wrong. Today is July 12th. July 12th, Friday. And as we do it usually, we got a little stream going on here on YouTube. So the earnings season is kicking off this Friday, right, with big bank earnings. We're going to see naturally a lot of these earnings start flushing through, especially with big tech. That's mainly what we're looking for. That's what I'm looking for, at least. But we had Q1 earnings. I think I was looking at it yesterday. They should, right? Okay, maybe not Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs on Monday, but I think like JP Morgan reported, if I'm not mistaken, barely any change right there. Wells Fargo as well. They're down significantly here. Citigroup pre-market are up a little. Morgan Stanley is not reporting today, and I think those might be the ones. So we're starting the earnings period here with banks as per usual, right? Many economic stats will be on the watch in the coming sessions, even for those that aren't necessarily looking at the banking industry, which recently passed the latest round of Fed stress tests. So provisions for credit losses can provide a window into how well banks expect the economy to hold up and will shed some light on the viability of commercial real estate. And consumer spending and credit card delinquencies will also be in the spotlight. And don't forget comments on the macro situation from some of the biggest CEOs on Wall Street. So the consensus annual forecast for 2024 Q2 earnings is set to rise 9% with expectations of continued growth for the second half. So positive future guidance revisions are expected. However, every earnings season, the market overreacts both to the upside or the downside, as we've seen a lot, especially in big tech, right? Those are the ones that have the largest of swings. We've seen NVIDIA over the past few earnings periods just gap and gap and gap and continue. NVIDIA was down significantly yesterday. How many percent, you may ask? Well, I shall respond when I see it. About 5.6% almost. NVIDIA downside yesterday. So everyone's going to be watching like big tech earnings realistically to help us figure out what the next general move of the overall market looks like and where these things are heading. So NVIDIA could be in for a lower high right now. A lot of big tech did slump yesterday while we had a rotation in assets, right? Those risk off assets, the ones that weren't seeing much love. We saw small caps like IWM post a pretty strong day yesterday. Look at this. So I'm very happy about that. It's gapping up even more. I have those calls that expire next Friday. So I was cutting it close as this garbage rotated which seemed it rotated forever. And I was like, shit. But here we are. So let's take a look. Disinflation, we had the PPI report this morning as well. Disinflation is making headlines apparently. Yesterday, we had our juicy CPI in the markets got beat down super hard. So if we take a look at like, if I pull up this SPY chart, it's going to look like a mess. Take a look at like the S&P 500 futures. Yesterday, we had a significant drawdown, right, from that after, well, I should say during the regular trading hour session, right, we saw an all-time high press from CPI. It cooled further in June, as we talked about yesterday. It's edging towards that 2% goal in or I guess the Fed's 2% goal, while stocks, they initially rose right off that news, but as we saw throughout the day, they got destroyed. Our quote unquote Magnificent Seven, our big tech companies, led the way to see some very clear downside in yesterday's session. Quite the opposite, and actually destroying the Wednesday gains. So PPI comes out this morning as well. We had an initial reaction to the downside that got rebid instantaneously. Here in the futures market, we had the US PPI year over year. It was expected at 2.3%, but it came out at 2.6%. So a decent bit higher, which caused that initial tremor to the downside, but quickly bid up. The US PPI month over month was expected at 0.1%. It came out at 0.2. The core year over year, 2.5 expected, 3 came out, and the US core month over month, 0.2 expected, 0.4 came out. So hotter numbers, right? It wasn't like the CPI release that we saw a cool down, and markets did react off that initially, but they're kind of coming back to their balanced distribution right now and holding out fairly well. Now, some of the other things in news, we had Tesla yesterday that got absolutely slapped down after a very, very strong rally over the last several weeks, but it dropped about 10% nearly in a single day, right? 8.5 almost, we should say. So after Bloomberg reported that the company may delay its robo-taxi event that was scheduled for August 8th. To October, as it needs more time to build autonomous vehicle prototypes. And Elon Musk has been mentioning the robotaxi event since April, while the robotaxi concept has been a part of Tesla's master plan for at least 8 years now. JP Morgan recently warned that Tesla investors may have gotten ahead of themselves in terms of baking in robotaxi premium. And we'll see how this shapes up, because Tesla, it was slumping a lot this year. It was looking like one of the shittier Magnificent Seven, but you can see just a few weeks of time and we rallied very viciously as we came into these prior tops. So in today's market, right, there's not too much more that I could say. We got consumer sentiment that comes out at 10 a.m. Generally across the board, we're trying to sustain some of this upside in these equities today. We can see that after that PPI, we dropped through that 53.60, and then we posted a little rally. Now, I'll relinquish the screen here. We'll talk about oil for a bit before I jump into equities, so it's just like fluid. So we'll create the trade plan for the equity futures in just a bit after we talk about oil here, and then we'll see what we got cooking. So let me just do this. We'll put Boxy on here. Let me see where my volume is. That should be good.
Morning, Vic.
Morning, Bucks. How you doing?
All right. What are you up to?
We might be buying dips today. We might be in there.
Story of your life.
Freaking classic. Well, you can go ahead with oil. Friday, fun day Friday, and we'll go from there.
All right. Well, good morning, Victoria. Good morning, TRADEPRO Academy. Oil market is up this morning. Opened over $1 higher than we opened yesterday. You can see the pivot is at 82.53. We're up above R1, which is 83.44. We caught our open right at R1. R2 is up at 84.03. So really, the upside came, a lot of it came yesterday, and the Globex has, of late, since about 7 this morning, just been more or less relatively flat, right in the VWAP until just now. We got this bullish push up. So trends are mixed, but as long as we stay above our current level here, we're going to go green. So you're just looking for a decent higher high, and on the retrace, you can get long with some confidence. If you want to short this market today, you probably should let it get below the VWAP, punch the VWAP to the downside on the retrace, you can get short. But at this moment, there's nothing to do but just kind of watch this price action here and see which way it wants to go. So we'll watch it and trade it. You know what's up. Victorio, back to you.
Perfect. Let's take a look at these equities and create plans for NASDAQ and the S&P. So yesterday, on Wednesday, even though I was looking for that trend day to the upside, right, I kind of fumbled it. But yesterday, we did not make that mistake, right? Caught a lot of this downside move in the morning session. and was pretty pleased with that. Today is Friday, so I'm going to be trading significantly smaller as per Fridays. Had a little turbulent hiccup in the middle of the week that I did not love trading, but that's life. So let's take a look at these equities. We'll start off with the S&P 500 futures, and there's a lot of interesting aspects that are going on over the last few days here that we can take note of and decipher, if you will. What we got going on yesterday, a very significant downside move after we failed to hold a few of the key areas here on these futures. If we take a look at what it is here, so the CPI data, we rallied pretty significantly pre-market, and then that got kind of shot down. There were these like unfinished auctions here that I was watching to pretty much sustain, right? I wanted to see if we can actually hold out yesterday at that 56.75 to see if we can see a little more upside realistically. So it was expected to see the CPI pop, right? These flat numbers, it seems like everyone was quote unquote leaking them or pretty much alluding to them. So I wasn't necessarily surprised to see this, but then this whole day that dropped lower significantly was a bit of a surprise. But this is why I have critical areas, right, that I want to see actually sustain if we're going to see trend continuations. Otherwise, you can't just be buying the dip all the way down, right? It was very similar to what had happened on Wednesday where prices just rallied aggressively, and I was looking to see if there was going to be any kind of failures. Now, what happened here is we enter into a big block of volume, a large distribution area into the downside, which is around 44 to 46 on these S&P 500 futures, 56, 44 to 46. So this is a very pivotal area, right? We've accepted into this large volume distribution. And on the overnight after the drop of this PPI, we almost tagged the bottom band of it, which is somewhere around that 15, right? 56, 15. So it's still the case where we might open below this area, which puts a little more downside pressure in this market. I'm not saying like, oh, this has to continue. We're going to start selling every single rally I see, but we're in a position where the sellers after yesterday really can take control. And these unfinished auctions that happen here, these very thin volume blocks, one of the caveats about this is if there's going to be really strong selling realistically, what has to happen is sell side pressure has to come in at lower levels, right? Pretty much we have to, if we complete some of these auctions, the sell side pressure should come out. And if that changes, right, so does the market structure, we can start flipping. So realistically, the top band of this distribution around this 44, 46, I do want it to sustain an offer realistically. So I want to see if they can actually sell that area. And then pretty much the last chance is around this like 54, in my opinion. There's a lot of sell pressure that came out at that 65. So I could see the potential for some fades there. But realistically, if we start moving above this 44, 46, there's a structural flip, right? And I wouldn't be surprised to see if some like buyers come in. Friday is a buy side day typically, right? A lot of big boy buyers do generally come out on Friday. So we'll see how that transpires. But if I'm going to watch for the trend continuation to the downside based on what had happened yesterday, I would want to see one of these two areas sell, right? So I'm going to watch for that. We also have this massive region at 56.30. Many failed auction, poor lows, heavy volume, a lot of negative delta building up down there. We broke it temporarily, so we cleaned it up here off that PPI news, but we immediately rebid back up into the distribution. So that puts me in a position where there's some buy side pressure coming into this. So for me, it's just a pivotal zone at 44, 46. That's all it comes down to. All that yapping and blabbing. Long story short, I want to see what happens at 44, 46, then I can make a decision there based on the movement. You take a look at the delta, which helps us identify imbalances. You can see what happened yesterday into the tops of this area, right? We had a lot of, here, let me just move this up. We had a lot of delta build up at that 96, 95. That was an area that I was talking about as a potential short opportunity. But I was shorting NASDAQ. I didn't necessarily short the S&P. I didn't want to double dip. But we found the shorts. Where do we find the shorts? Once all these imbalances actually broke, there was some downside press. You start moving into the distributions lower. 75 was that area. And we saw a significant move to the downside. So what's going on today with these imbalances, you can see there are large clusters into these tops, 44, 46. This is why it's a very pivotal area for me. The thing is, it's very reminiscent of what happened before that trend day to the upside. So if we start to see buyers actually extend through these areas, we could see that pop, right? I'd be targeting this single print somewhere into this 55, 54 and see how it transpires there. But one of the main points is that there was a lot of culminated negative delta into these lows towards the bottom band of this minor distribution, which are holding out the buy side, right? It's a very, very important level for these buyers to sustain above. Otherwise, we just see this cataclysmic drop. So there are a lot of like scenarios here. And like, again, long story short, we just pulled back to pivot is going to be around that 44, 46. Directionally, I don't want to necessarily guess on a Friday. It'd be great if they just bid it up a little and then they just like drop it and we can see that continuation to the end of the week. So that's what I'd be looking for, pop and drop. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, well, screw me. Anyways, NASDAQ. NASDAQ's in an interesting distribution here. The bottom band of it was 380. We held it yesterday into the close. We head faked below it today off that PPI news, and we're back in it. The way I see NASDAQ right now is we can potentially make a higher low at 430, 420. I don't necessarily want to see it back down here if there's going to be any kind of bidding into that 380. We have that about 490, 500 pivotal area because if we start moving back above that, right, we can clean up some of this low volume that could take us towards that 580. And 580, 540 seem like the last chance for the sell side to come into this to continue this larger trend to the downside. Because if you see here, if we just break down that 580, we enter into a distribution higher, which for me would be that buy side momentum. So I feel like I've talked a lot today, trying to break down this plan. And yeah. Anyways, if you have any questions, let me know. I can see some questions already spiking up. I work in West Texas Intermediate Fields. It's pretty steady out here. West Texas, geez. That's interesting. I bet it's hot as hell. Pretty hot over here too, if I don't say so myself. Am I trading the SPY or I'm trading ES and NQ futures, NASDAQ and S&P futures. I might, if I see some kind of interesting opportunity, I might do some like options today. We'll see. I haven't done an intraday option in a while. So yeah. I'm looking at this. Oh, never mind. Put Fatty on here. Morning, everyone. I'll look at your questions in just 1 second. Fatty's asleep still. NQ closed near the top of the distribution. So a good question about NQ. I'm mainly looking at NQ if we fail from like 490, 500 to see if there's any sell pressure from there. Just now, NQ, I think they traded like 465. That's not necessarily that high. You can see the SPOOs are failing from this 44, 46 right now. I like the two pivots, right? NQ at that 500, 490 area to continue the momentum downside. S&P pretty much where we're trading at right now. Eventually fed you. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on where everyone's at. Who's at the hottest place right now? Who's at the hottest place? That's my question of the day. Yeah, 40 is so far the winner. 40 Celsius. Yeah, honestly, the room that I'm sitting in is probably 40 at this point. If it's like 36, 37 outside. Ian, it's still hotter here than in Nashville. Like, what's 40? Probably like 100 Fahrenheit. Let's use Uncle Google. 104. Shit. 110, 115. I don't think humidity is that high in Bulgaria. Like it's not, it's dry. I don't know what the humidity readings are, but it says humidity now is 20%, whatever that means.
That's pretty dry.
Yeah, it's not very wet over here. I think I put fatty on, I don't know where it is.
Good morning, Vic, Boxy, Trade Pros, everyone.
What's up?
What's up, Boxy?
Hey, fatty,
Hey, Vico, how are you?
you doing well?
Awesome. What are you saying today, Vic? The ultimate rally or the another ultimate fail?
I'd like to see like a pop and drop, like even if they sell it from like this 46 area, 45, that'd be fun. Nasdaq, if they, I want to see Nasdaq a little higher, but if they continue to sell, that'd be good. Because if they just allow a Friday bid today, I don't know, probably just go trade a new all-time high next week.
Okay, that's how I see it. I think today we balance, but I'm still looking for a pop and drop, honestly. Like it's just tough to short here. Being on the short side, like is I think is better for the first part of the session. And being on the short here is just point of control, middle of the balance. A little higher, as Vic was saying on Nasdaq, like 460. I see it prior to that and try to sell. Yesterday it was just like I was watching it, I tried one fade after we closed down the room, and yeah, it was just tough to fade this thing.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
2 days in a row, fades are just getting destroyed.
Yeah. One time to the upside, which was Thursday, and one time to the downside yesterday. Sorry, the upside yesterday and downside before. I think we had a bit before we had that massive run to the downside yesterday.
Yeah, I was like at the beginning of yesterday's session, I was looking to buy 82, 83 on the spoos, but it didn't trade there, and then we rallied to 96. Yeah, I want to see what this like 46, 44 area does here. Because we're trading right at it. If I was already short it, I'd feel okay about it, but like how many times is this area gonna test? Like yesterday, like 17 times into the close, like another 50 overnight. Yeah, like just under 4 minutes here until the market opens. Mhm. Back, let me just grab something. $45 seconds.
Let's see.
There it is.
Yeah.
Heavy offer initially from the 46. Give us some time. Friday. That NASDAQ holding higher low, 420, 430. It's just like off the open right now. We're trying to bid above this 44, 46 as well. Swings are a bit.
Aggressive.
There's a lot of positive delta on NASDAQ below 430s, 440s, 420s. Uh, hmm. I like how they're bidding. I do like how they're bidding. I'm gonna have to wait. Yeah, when we open right at a key area, I need to give it a little more time. All right, I wanna let this thing kind of settle down and see what kind of trades happen into these areas because it's a very reminiscent price action from Wednesday where we have all this positive delta into these tops and you start trying to buy above it. Let's see. You watching Nas 420, 430 area? Morning, Michael. Watching Spoos low 40s. Let's see. I try and fill into these 44s, 43s on the long with NASDAQ into 435, 430. Ah, shit.
Aggressive swings hard to get a fill. I tried shorting like the first time around 64. I didn't fill. The second time I got it. Got a piece of it. Now it's back to break even. It's moving fast.
I don't know if I'm going to fill this, honestly. I'm trying to fill around 430 on this NAS. I'm going to use like an 18-point stop. Yes, filled. NASDAQ's in a clutter of like a lot of positive delta trying to hold it down here into this like 445, which I don't love. And I start cutting some NAS at plus 20, plus 22 here because it's just like struggling a little. Like you see that offer.
Yeah. The offer is consistent too. Every time it touches, low 50s. I'm playing like off this range. I tried the short, trying the short off the top. Who knows which side is gonna break? I see the long argument, a lot of positive delta to support there. Mm.
see this Nasdaq like 460. They have to like both of these are just like dilly-dallying here. Every time this son of a bitch rallies, they try to sell it. 47
Yeah,
has a lot of buying that accumulated here on ES. Let's see if they bid above it. Here they come. Oh, come on. 455s. That's a cute. Nah. Ay.
it's coming. Wait, I think Nasdaq is gearing up for a pop higher.
Yeah, I'm gonna be trimming on this way up. Nasdaq plus 30 almost. I haven't taken anything on ES. It's about like around plus 5-ish. There you go. Some off here, yes. Okay. Take some more off and I'll leave these guys at break even. Nasdaq 460 is another area, 147 positive delta there. Like, I don't like how these guys keep reacting into these current session highs. Nice bid. I take another one off at this 49. Okay, I'll go one more. 49 halves. Eh, the expansion here is leaving much to be desired from this market. I'm just like slowly cutting some at this like 460 on NAS every pop I see here, every time it pulls down. So like I'm out a decent bit. Let's see if we can pop into this like 470. That's another area I like. Baby steps here. There we go.
Nice move.
475, gonna cut some here. I'm honestly cut one more on the spoos here at this 50. Like this, yes. Bye. I see 490, about 52, 54 on the ES, 490, 500 on the NAS. I'll take one more. On the spruce. That bid at 52, I was playing with NASDAQ, so I couldn't take anything off at that 52 on the ES. Big buyer comes in, they kind of like stuff it. Oh, my neck. Question, where can I get the market depth DOM tape, whatever it's called on the left? You can check out, here, I'll put a link in our free Discord. If you check out the pinned post, you can download the chart book. Let's see if you guys asked anything. Wouldn't this be an area to short, wondering why you're going long? That might have been an older question, but why I was going long into into low 40s on the SPOOs and on the NASDAQ into 430 because I had PTSD from what I did on Wednesday. No, mainly because it was a very similar patterning where you have all this delta buildup, they push above it. So the real area is around 42-ish, 43. If you get that press above all that delta that's been built up, you can see on the overnight here above this 46, 45, like we should theoretically hold those areas. Nice bids into those areas as well. People getting trapped. Higher lows expectation on NASDAQ from that 420, 430. Nice buyers there too. They pull down from here, so be it, like go work. Someone else saying that they saw 43 getting absorbed on the sell side. I might get taken out here, break even. This was like, it didn't quite hit that 54, but like that 52 area, that almost cleans up the auction from yesterday. And that's the area where they would like to sell. So if I get taken out here, I like break even. East all good. Pull these down a little closer. Just cover the commission on it. Two left on this NASDAQ, but they're probably going to get zipped out. I'm flat on the SPOOs. Solid trade.
Good trade, Vic. Good trade.
Yeah.
They're getting stuck, a lot of volume, a lot of delta. Great shot. I tried the short, honestly. I didn't try the long. Tried the short a couple of times, but not on this leg right now. Like, the way I see it is like, as we were saying earlier, I was looking for a pop and drop, and those pops into the 60s with the big delta on NASDAQ, they were worth a shot for me to try the short. But the third time around, when they popped, I kind of got skeptical. I was like, we're gonna probably melt up to the upside now. They sold it. Still a range so far, no expansion. Just playing the range, either buying with Vic or selling the 60. Some point is gonna break. Mhm.
Yeah, what the hell was this though? This thing just like ticked me out and then just rebid
In
instantaneously.
rebids, yeah.
What the hell? I'm still long two on this right now.
Nice.
They didn't get ticked out. Like you can see where my stops are.
Ooh, a great pop.
I have a target at 491 and a half. What the hell? Yes.
He has bounce too.
Yeah,
What's
yes,
wrong?
just rebid
Yeah.
instantaneously after taking my thing out. So, based on the overnight delta, that we get a quite good reaction on positive delta built up. I did not understand that. What? Sorry, what do you mean? Can you explain that? when we have these like positive delta buildups or negative delta buildups, like highs or lows, like especially into this high right now, if we start bidding above it, right, like these are pretty clean buyers that want to like continue and jump on this move. That's why I was looking for the long, but like I just got ticked out of that S&P, which kind of sucks, but
Nasdaq is going.
yeah, let's see how far this Nasdaq goes. It's up like 50 points. Mm-hmm. S&P, let's see here. Spoos into that 52. That was one of my targets, 52 quarter. And then it left in the butt. But let's see. They're still holding the bid. Every dip is getting bought up pretty nicely. And that's pretty close there, but no cigar. They're holding a bid on every pull down, which is strong for this buy side. Decent delta accumulating here at this 52 on the spoos. Oh my god. There we go. One left on this NAS. I'll put this stuff here. ES price action does look like shit. This is the target area. 90 for between 490 and 500 on the NAS. That's the main target that I wanted to hunt. Nice. Strong move. 500s. Positions up 70 points. 500 building up a lot of positive delta, can't get absorbed here. ES 50. Fuck. I'm not paying attention to both these. I'm gonna move this. Nasdaq I don't really care about because I already have a position on. With the S&P, this 54 area is pretty interesting to me. It cleans up the auction, and then this could be an area where some of that sell side pressure comes through. I'm flat Nasdaq into this 502. I'm okay with that. It's looking a little a little. I only had one on anyways. If it goes, it goes. I'm okay with that. Just a little triggered by this ES silly thing. Just ticked me out and then popped. As that keeps going, maybe I shouldn't have flattened it. What a noob. It's okay. Watching spoos building up decent positive delta. Nasdaq running. Yeah, 540, 550 is a big area on this. Well, I flattened that Nasdaq about 15 points too early. Huh. Yeah, what a fucking noob, eh, Mike? An idiot. I stopped how your trade cut here. Don't you know if you're not buying on a Friday, you're giga wrong. Being wrong and right in the markets, who cares? That's the reality. Just trade what you have planned and move on. Not here to be right. I don't see anyone selling. I'm just, I don't know. Like the S&P is at an interesting area, but after that first trade, I'm just gonna chill a bit and drink my drugs.
Drink my drugs.
Yeah, my powder. My narcotics. Buxy, Michael's asking, does oil have quote unquote summer months or just like slow periods?
Not really, not so much. It's not really seasonal like that. There'll be slow times, but it doesn't have anything to do with the seasons.
Interesting. Watching this 54 very carefully. Oh, thanks, Sandra. I appreciate that. I'm trying to. What am I trying to do? I'm watching this like 54 very carefully. With spoos. Nasdaq is at an interesting area as well around this 500. Meaning that if they fail from here, I wouldn't fully be surprised. But now I'm just like getting flashbacks to the last time I was shorting like 53 not too long ago on Wednesday. You know, just saying boom, stop. So the thing is, like, no one's selling, right? Right now, no one's selling. Like, big sellers, not really to be found. Every time we get a reoffer, the rebid just comes in, sweeps it back up. It's annoying that I had to double touch that like 44 area, 43 area on the spoos. Just took me out. Maybe I could have been still in this nonsense. Nasdaq 520 shit. What the hell did I do? That was a mistake. Yeah, I'm not really. looking for these shorts. I just cut NASDAQ too early. Spoos too. Bitch. What can you do? Now I wait. There's no point in me like trying to chase this or like jump in again. It's NASDAQ's up 100 points from that entry. Crap. Right? Got a nice little water glass over here. Yeah, someone's mentioning that these resting orders, like, look, they keep moving up. These 900 orders you have, even at the over here, these guys have been moving. These 900 orders up and down have been moving since yesterday, up and down with price. I don't know what that's about. Whoever gets filled first loses. I'm not sure. Hmm.
Thank you, just seeing consecutive futures extend on gains here after the open. So even S&P 500 at session highs up 20 points, 0.4%. Meanwhile, even Nasdaq 100 up 105 points, 0.5%.
This is a new guy. 560 shit.
Around about a minute now until top hour. We get the University
560 and 550.
Headlines expected at 68.5 from the prior 68.2. Current conditions expected 66.3 from the prior 65.9. The forward-looking expectations at 69.8 from the prior 69.6. As always, attention will be on the inflation expectations within the release, with the short term 1 year ahead at 3% last time out, and the longer term 5 to 10 year also at 3%.
Dun, dun, dun.
What are we doing? Damn, what a run. Nice longs, Vic. You still holding that?
No.
No?
No, I got like on the spoos I got taken out on the pullback on like two of the ones that were left.
Nasdaq
Nasdaq I
mega
flagged.
monster. That's nice. Great trade. Once they
Like,
broke the 60, they just
Seconds.
expanded to the upside. No need to offer this now.
yeah, no one's really selling. Like,
Yeah, a lot of
Headline
buy
66,
deltas.
condition 64.1, expectations 57.2, inflation expectations for both metrics ticked down to 2.9% from 3%. Just going over that data again there, headline sentiment came in at 66, well beneath the expected 68.5 and the prior 68.2. Current conditions, that falls to 64.1 from 65.9, also beneath the expected 66.3. Meanwhile, forward-looking expectations falls to 67.2, beneath the expected 69.8 and the previous 69.6. Meanwhile, inflation expectations 1 year ahead and also longer term at 5 to 10 year fall to 2.9% from the prior 3%.
wow. What a freaking rally. And at least I got a piece of this, what looks like to be a trend day at this point. Like Ian was saying, he got that 52 long, which is it's aggressive long. It's a good one now. I just like kept buying into that area.
Foreign direct investment portfolio incomes causing net capital flows in 2022-2023.
Look, like we're seeing a movement into the 64, 65. Remember, huge negative delta from yesterday. 580-ish almost on the NAS. If there's going to be any kind of sell pressure on the day, I think it's going to be from here. Otherwise, Valhalla new all-time highs erase all the sell side from yesterday.
On the metals footing here,
I mean, there's no sellers. Like, there's just not enough price action to the downside.
And CNBC interview, Nippon Steel vice chair reportedly said he is confident the US steel transaction can close in the second half of this year.
Nothing set up really on the shorts until they broke above 60, so Nice run. Nice run in the day.
I want to see if they can offer this 64.65 and then 580 on the NAS. That's the top of or the bottom of a prior distribution. They'll clean up yesterday's auction at that area. If this is a one-touch sell from 63, then computer is getting closed today.
Just on the metals fitting here, according to Reuters, citing a company spokesperson, Nornickel is to restart a furnace at a key smelter in early August.
It's a one-touch. No. Yeah, resting orders. These guys are just limits that are sitting on the DOM. Still waiting for around 65, 64, 65. I'd imagine it'd be pretty hard for these guys to break above that from yesterday.
Tried the short a little earlier here, 52, 55.
On this.
Yeah. It might be early, might hit fake.
Starting to see some sellers that are trying to join the party here.
Just seeing some comments here from Wells Fargo post, and it does note controls are improving based on internal metrics.
All right, let's see. What do we say, chat? Trend day to the upside, clean up those all-time highs, or guess again? This thing just like failing at 63. Shit, I want a little higher. Nasdaq, a lot of imbalances are starting to form into this 565, 570. Good long.
And further here from Wells Fargo, it does like momentum is growing in credit cards and expect business to contribute more to growth.
There's 64 in that SPOO's trading. You can see Delta print from yesterday. 65 exactly. $65 so far till the tick fails. Nasdaq hasn't made a new high yet. Or are they gonna throw a billion contracts at this 65 now? Hmm. I'm gonna take a smaller short into these 65s on this
Good man.
SPOO's, just a little fade.
And just further here from Wells Fargo, do note US economy is still slow.
Getting too jumpy. Bids are still in this. They built up this positive
Mhm.
delta into 68 and they're trying to bid into it. Took a stop just debating if should I get in again. I want to see like a quick move to the downside. Nothing.
No, these guys like every time a big seller comes in, especially on the SPOOs here, they just like eat it back up.
There's an elevated inflation and elevated interest rates.
Let's see. Like 400s are trying to sell on these SPOOs, nothing. They're just using them as liquidity to keep the buy momentum going.
$590 Vic.
Getting stopped on these SPOOs. Stopped on half. If the other half goes, that'd be weird. 580, 590 trades on NAS. That's the area I liked.
Further from Wells Fargo, ticker WFC, it says the pace of buybacks may slow.
Every offer, this is like, it's a very strong bull. Every offer just keeps getting eaten up by the buy side.
One entity.
It's an okay area, but selling blues. Was watching his dumb very carefully and seeing like 400, 500 market sellers trying to come in on the spoos, but
Downside in dollar
they're
yen.
not doing anything.
Downside in quick order. So it's just above the 158.20 mark, now down to 157.48. So yet more erratic price action in
700 on the offer.
as we have seen in
Jesus,
just
fuck,
over
just sell it.
24 hours. So again, dollar yen moving sharply lower. Obviously, this will prompt speculation over potential intervention, but nothing on the headlines suggesting that at this stage.
Huge orders coming in on the spoos now. Looks like these sellers might be in for some pain. Not over just yet, but it looks terrible for the sell side here. They need to get rid of this 66 downside. They can't just keep accumulating all this delta here. Nasdaq target like 540 and like lower. They have to get through that like larger positive buy delta 545. It's just they keep like adding large contracts here on the sell side. This is their chance.
This note in US politics, some accounts just drawing attention to a comment from a Punchbowl reporter that US House Democratic leader Jeffries met with Biden on Thursday. Does it have any readout from that conversation? And further post-sentence commentary from Wells Fargo says if the Fed was to start cutting rates, then they would expect immediate impact on new promotional rates in their consumers.
Every time these big offers come in, they just rebid them. Like Nasdaq's paying, but this S&P is
It's just not following through. And Nasdaq isn't really paying either. It's giving like, well, depending on where you got in, you can get like 2-to-1, but it's just S&P is not following through, not helping the Nasdaq case for the shorts. Also, a lot of offers being thrown in, and it's just not going down, so it's just not healthy. That's the main thing here. They flash big offers, and the market doesn't flinch.
It just goes up. It flips higher. I'm like,
I like it because like I have this whole area between like pretty much between 70 and 90 marked as like a big region in terms of delta and like volume starts kicking in. So it's a decent area, it's just the expansion move isn't really playing out as you would like to see, but it might just be late. So if you're short, you just have to wait. That's the part where you wait to take your profits. Hey, nice run right there, Nasdaq. If you're short, Nasdaq takes some. I think once it dips down, like everybody's like flattened or they buy it or something. It's just the way it bids back up is so fast.
Oh, yeah, this ES.
Shorting both, Vic. Let
Yeah, I'm sure of both, but
Oops.
ES.
Yeah, he is a little stronger, right?
Yeah, like this like 66, they threw in like negative 1500 delta and they're just like holding above it. They just keep selling and holding above it. But the good thing is if it breaks, if it happens to break, that'd be great. But Nas from 580 is doing well. I think I'll probably get stopped on this ES though, but like my entry might have just been a little too tight because they just keep getting the ES sellers trapped at that stupid low. AK my entry. Nasdaq pulled off from that high very well, but like
Call me crazy, but I like the S&P short here, 67, so I'll give it a shot here.
That's
I think
crazy.
my I think my area is just
It
shit, honestly. I like it too though.
offered the Nasdaq showing weakness, so it's like directionality is leaning more on the sell. Nasdaq is a little bit in the top area. I have the short Nasdaq too, so it's like double dipping can go against you, but hey.
Nasdaq has to break 540, offer the shit out of it. Yes, man. Who the hell is sitting at that 66? Another 400 on the fucking offer, jeez. 500.
Don't bid, just sell.
Nasdaq's gonna drop another like 40 points. S&P is gonna be down like one.
Just in terms of the read up from this conversation between Jeffries and Biden. So, according to the letter, US House Democratic leader Jeffries expressed perspectives and conclusions in the caucus about the path forward in a private meeting with Biden on Thursday evening.
Oh my god, these 66s are. Another large offer, 700 was thrown into that low. No, don't sell more into the low just to trap it.
Big selling on Nasdaq. Take one here. Hmm.
I'm gonna cut some of that as well.
Yeah. Have a piece running. Nasdaq S&P is this went from 67 to 64 is
On 3
see.
points.
Be grateful. Big money. Yeah. Actually, towards the end, I like S&P short like a lot better. Like like Nasdaq towards the low, S&P towards the high, bidding big quantities. Yeah, it went up from VIX entry a bit, but like it was like nothing serious. Usually, like if the big delta is the fight area, the good fills for the short are above them, and if the same big delta is to the downside that you're trying to buy, the good entry is below it. So to me, it's just big fight at 66, negative 2,000 sellers. You pop up into like 68, 68 half. It's still like in the area.
It's just I got in before those big deltas came.
Yeah. Oh, shoot. So you sat through some shit.
I did, yes.
Yeah.
And like look, this S&P's
And
strong.
yeah, we're about to sit through some more. Oh.
My God.
I know. I know.
Yeah, I think these sellers are kind of cooked. Look at Nasdaq reboot.
Back to gigabit mode. Nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Every time this is, yeah, I think that was a little too early without too much confirmation. Every time the seller comes in, they just like bid it higher. Like they got a lot of work to do to see some kind of sell pressure on this S&P. Like it's just like the opposite. Well, it's kind of like Wednesday. It's just every time an offer comes in, they just sweep it up and rebid it. Liquidity. 300's on the offer again. 400 on the bid. 500 buyer.
We'll hear from Wells Fargo, ticker WFC. The CFO expects net interest income to drop towards the end of the year.
Enough with this. Give me hope, then give me rope action. If you wanna buy, like just go. If you wanna sell, like thing is, it's like tough to because there's big offers coming, so you give them a chance to fight. And they get rebid, you lose hopes. That's
Yeah,
what
these
we're
big
sitting
offers,
in.
but they're not really doing this
Offering.
sell any justice here. They get stopped out, they all get stopped out at the same time.
You're still holding Nasdaq, Vic?
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
so a few left. Stop at break even. Way better than the stupid S&P. Hmm. Point of control is up into this area.
Yeah. We're hovering around there in both these assets, like Nasdaq and the S&P.
Okay, you're right.
Mhm.
Like staring at this S&P, Dom, like if I stare at it some more, something's gonna change.
Well, that's sense. You're taking heat. I often am like this. Doing
It's
so
just
hard, like this is gonna make it better.
I don't know, I'm surprised at how I haven't been taken out on this yet. There it is. I'm out of that. That's okay. Maybe my entry wasn't the best, but every time like these sellers came through the buy side, just like rebid it back up. And I had a glimmer of hope when we reoffered that like 66. And once they bid back above it, that was some nasty work. Some complex questions. I don't even know what this means. Still a bullet trend. Still a little annoyed that I got taken out of those long runners on the spoos before this massive run. Life though.
Just further pressure on US President Biden here, with US Representative Peterson calling on Biden to end his presidential bid.
What a freaking
Separately, from macro front, Deutsche Bank has upgraded UK's GDP growth forecast for 2024 to 1.2% from 0.8%.
Continued gigabit in these markets. Had an early long little fade. Got taken out. It's okay. This is not far off from just like completely cleaning up yesterday's downside.
Yeah. Yes.
Holy shit. NASDAQ. I'm just looking at it. Wow. I had my daily one trend day fade and then I'm done. Even like looking back at this, like I'm trying to think where would I have gotten in on the long side. Maybe once this formed around the 66, that we kept holding bid, but like I got in before we formed that area. Now back at 75, the last short I took from yesterday. That's crazy. 3 back-to-back days of just excessive movement. Another thing here, I'm looking at the IBC period, I think just started 5 minutes ago. We'll see if C period just closes or close outside or within this IB. I'll get a little more understanding of directionality for the remainder of the day. What's the next play here? I'm not even sure if I want to have a next play.
I can't really see a clear next play right now because like the market is on a bullish note and I don't want to keep fading, but at the same time, like I faded a couple of times, got out okay because I got in a good areas, but at the same time I'm not seeing the entry for the long.
No,
They
well, like
all
I think
just
like
seem aggressive.
now that the Nasdaq's above that 580, we're just like entering into a distribution higher. S&P too, like climbing above this 65 was kind of a nail in the coffin for me, like above this 75 especially. So I don't know. I'm gonna be cautious here, waiting for like pullbacks. I think 580 is a very shallow pullback on NAS, but into that area is good to watch. You have a lot of positive delta 570, 580. Nasdaq, I mean S&P 75, still a good area, but I'm not one to I'm not one to try to fade this again. I had that long from that 43 earlier today, but Just a little annoyed I didn't hold that long. And on we go. No more sell for me. It's just hard for me to get long. Wait for pullbacks. Well, long again at least. This is ridiculous. Look at the last 3 days on a daily on the S&P. Down, up, down, up. Up, down, up, down. Michael, long 6 of Marcus bucket. I guess, honestly.
It's good.
Just keep buying this shit. The best way to jump it on the long side in these like trend days, if you're not on the long side, you just look for like rotations that create like obscene amounts of delta and then just get long into those areas. Like the stupid 66. It gave me a glimmer of hope when we reoffered under it. Like my entry was pretty bad, but it gave me a glimmer of hope, rebid instantaneously. Honestly, you should just flatten and then flipped on the long side. When you get rotations like these and just like excessive balance keeps coming in, and like what's going on this DOM is just like you keep getting large sellers that are coming through. You're getting large offering that's coming through. However, it doesn't do anything. It just gets bid back up and is used as liquidity. It's a very, very bullish DOM. What pains me a little is I got long 43 and got out like the majority at 49 and 50. I was trading 78, a 30-point move extra. Fuck. I'll try to get long, honestly, but like I don't know where. Probably like 74 shallow pullback. $80 no trades. I don't have any questions actually. While I look at this shit. I'm waiting. I am waiting.
Yeah, me too. Nothing to do here. If you're not on the long, you missed the meme move. You either got an aggressive entry or you're sitting outside looking for new information, but not anticipating a reversal and keep fading. Because that's how we get butchered on trend days. Thing is, we got 2 trend days back to back, and this doesn't happen
I got
often.
3.
3, yeah.
This is the third one.
Yeah.
Like I'm okay with what I did today, honestly. I didn't hold out this long very well in the morning from the morning session, but it's okay. Trend days, like I was saying just a few minutes ago, like when you're trading trend days, just wait for prices to rotate into an area, create large delta, and then just get long, even if it's at like close to a top. Like 74 seems like a good long, but realistically, trend days to the upside are much more difficult than to the downside because the upside they just like low volatility grind higher. So you're better off like trying to get in on the long side when you find some kind of rotation that holds out some good positive delta. Yeah, exactly. And like we say TPA's method is not so good for trend days. No offense, just to discuss. Yeah, for sure. I get that. Like I it's good for any kind of market condition, right? Like we found that long from 43 today. I think people when they like look at the system, they just see fades, which is not what it's about. It's about just understanding where distributions and auctions are in the market. Because like what did we say today in the morning? If we start bidding above this 45, 46, you're most likely going to get a stronger move to the upside that accepts all this buying, right? You move above 54, that's probably it, right? Like you're just trying to pinpoint those areas in the auction and just try to get along. Like at these points, there was a decent, honestly, it was a very bad short, like the one that I got in. Like I was talking about how shit it was too throughout the whole time. It was an area that I should have been honestly getting long, and that was like the rotation pullback. How often do I reverse an entry? 0% of the time because I'm very bad at it. I think like it's the same concept as last Wednesday where like that short that I had at that 66, it was before any real confirmation came through. So I kind of didn't wait for things. I'm not very good at reversing trades, but it was an interesting spot. And like now, no, wait. I'm up decent on NAS off those two trades, but I didn't get long this. No real pullbacks towards that 580. Right now, just continuing this grind higher. We're in the distribution. We're trying to move above this 670, 660. Look at this S&P, 7 billion green candles in a row. The 5666 area, Eric, honestly, that was like it's a very good area to replay because that was the epitome of creating like bullish momentum on the DOM where you have like just plethora, just like massive sell. And then what happens? They just like sweep it back up, rebid. So that was like a very, very bullish moment. And then they not the same size, but a very similar size at 66 from yesterday's 55, two massive negative delta areas, rebid super aggressively. Yeah, looking at cons at strategies helps you like define them a bit better for sure. The main con of like the strategy that I use is breakouts. Like if a breakout happens, I'm very bad at breakouts and like it's not really like it can be used for breakouts for sure if you accept into distributions, but I'm just like so bad at them. So I don't trade them at all. Another big area now trading 80, 83, 84 from yesterday. It's pretty much the open of yesterday.
Yep, I was just about to say that was dope.
Nasdaq's still a decent bit weaker, but it's rallied a lot. It's up 220 points from that entry. Cheese. No, wait. Would watching the footprint chart help with trend days? Yeah, it does as well because it helps you identify where those like big orders are coming in from a visual perspective. The footprint helps display it from a visual perspective really well in these trend days. Like the DOM is very useful as well, but like I think that there's an added bonus when you watch how the footprint rotates into those areas. Like they just like kept hammering. Like here, where was it? Oh, whoops. Shit. 1 second. Like, look at this. It's a very interesting area. It's a good area too, from a visual component on the footprint, right? You see sell, large negative delta, they pop it up. Every time they get an offer, they pop it up. They accumulate, pop it up again, accumulate, pop it up. And at this point over here, I was like, I am very wrong on this. I'm gonna get stopped out. And that, like when you see the accumulation over here like this, like into these areas, like 65, 66, honestly, pretty good long in my opinion. And that's how I knew I was wrong. What? So I don't know. I might be done for Friday. Maybe one more trade. I want to see if they can actually rotate or pull it back. This trend day doesn't look that weak. You can see C period on the market profile is just like it's about to close very, very much outside of that IB high. So we'll do our pull here, and this is a solid day. I got to review me holding those longs is the issue. Let me know if you guys have any questions with this. That's a good question. Get back. That's just hovering just above the one market to trade at session lows at the moment. As Eurodollar extends above 1.9, table highs 1.30 to the upside. I see much by the way of the recent news flow. Something to keep an eye on. Just for the Japanese yen traders, it's also worth noting that on Monday it is a Japanese market holiday.
All right, TRADEPRO Academy, let's close this call out in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Good day overall. Nice. Thank you for the numbers, Boxy.
My
Appreciate
pleasure.
you. You want to do a wrap up now?
I do. So, oil has kind of remained largely sideways much of the day. We did come below the VWAP and got a good downward run, came back to it. Can't really seem to get above it. Trend traders or trends are technically down. We have started making lower lows and lower highs. So, the place that we're at right now, if that resistance holds and these 83 low teens, then that would be a decent place to get short and see if you could run one down. Whatever you do, monitor your risk, trade like a trade pro, and preserve that capital. Gentlemen, thanks for another great day and another great week. I hope you gentlemen and all of TRADEPRO Academy has a great rest of today and a great weekend. And we'll see everybody on Monday. Ciao.
Thank you, Boxy. Appreciate you, sir. Good numbers, guys. 72% life positive today, so good work, everyone. Like as far as the markets, as Vic was saying, 3 trend days, so we don't usually get that kind of volatility, but good overall. Like this whole week, we're above 70% on the life positive, except for maybe Wednesday. But yeah, overall today, I'm sitting at light green. I didn't do like I was I had 4 trades on the session, like around 460. I tried the short twice, and both of them honestly got paid. And the third one was around like 65, 55, and that one got stopped. And those were the NQ shorts. And I tried the short 67 on S&B. So pretty much for me today, I'm like sitting at break even. It's just the way that I seen this day playing out in my analysis earlier. I thought like the sellers were try it, so I was looking for like a pop and drop. So when we popped into 640, sorry, the 460, and like I see them trying to offer earlier in the session, I took the buy side. I didn't factor in the mega Friday bid that always comes in on Fridays. So yeah, that's where I'm sitting. Overall, 72% is great, honestly. Trend days are a little harder for me at least, to catch, because you kind of have to get aggressive on one of these deltas and just say screw it, like kind of get in. And I don't do that often, so they're harder to catch. But I sat out a lot of the bullish action. I only took 3 fades. 2 of them were really good in my eyes, which was around the 460. And yeah, overall good week, and we'll do it again on Monday. Vic, back to you.
Yes, sir. Yeah, pretty solid day, honestly. Like you guys saw, I took those longs off pretty early that I got in very early in the morning. So I didn't really do much after that, right? I had 2 fades, one on Nasdaq that worked very well, and then the one on the SPOOs that you guys saw got taken out. But strong trend day. We've had 3 trend days in a row, right? So 3 trend days in a row in this case, and even from the first one, right? It was a huge learning lesson to stay on side of these things. So if you caught yourself fading all these 3 trend days, review, and make sure that you know what it is that you're doing correctly or incorrectly, and how to kind of mitigate those aspects, right? That's why we have those journals, and we want to continuously journal so we can revisit and make sure that we learn from those mistakes. So today was a pretty solid move, right? I didn't catch a lot of this upside, but I'm still satisfied with what I did catch. And for the remainder of the day, right? I don't really want to call a top on this. They're most likely just going to continue bidding, especially into Friday. There could be some pullbacks, but they're probably just going to get bid back up. And yeah, so I appreciate you guys. Have a great weekend. We'll do this again on Monday. And again, you see these pops, right, with auctions. This is what we trying to break down, that we tried to break down pre-market today. You see these auctions, you move above this auction top into these like mid 40s. Well, what do you think I want to do from there, right? You're going to expand and clean up a lot of the auctions to the upside. So C period closes outside of the IB high. Most likely there is some kind of continuation. I'm just trying to hunt some kind of pullbacks to see where they land, and we'll go from there. So thank you all. Take care, everyone, and let's do this in Discord. I'll see what's going on in Discord into the afternoon, and I'll see you guys on Monday.